I'm just gonna give Phenom a shirt that says "Hated it." Like,
Exactly, yo.
You can get with this, cause this is where it's at. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that.
Welcome back, everyone, to This Is It Media. We are here. The crew is here, and we are here for the penultimate episode of Miss Marvel. I'm so excited. I'm going to go around to the crew, but let's start off with my man, Phenom 202. What's going on, brother?
Phenom 202, DDA representative. Had so many issues with this episode. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not going to be nice with it.
Oh,
nah. Dumpster juice, dumpster fire, dumpster everything. Yo.
Oh my God, that
What?
dude.
Damn.
Yes.
Damn.
I mean, tell us how you really feel, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing, yo.
Tell her why you mad, son.
Yo, it just wasn't good, man.
All right, man. Ollie, man, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Struggling to make it here, but I made it here, and I'm ready to jump in. I want to hear these thoughts, yo. I'm surprised.
Look, me, Joe, same here. But before we do that, we got a special guest, which is really not a guest now. Anyway, we got Cola. What is going on, Cola?
Nothing much, man. Just as always, bringing that big auntie energy.
That's right. That's right.
And as I was watching it, I knew something told me Phenom is going to have so many issues with this. You know, I can't really pinpoint at what point, but I was just like, Phenom's going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Once Corey breaks it down, you'll know why I have a problem at, yo.
Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Here is the episode that we really find out what happened to Aisha before and during the partition. It gives an explanation of the partition as this mass migration, and it had a lot of violent outbreaks that occurred during it. And basically what happens in this situation, India was split into a secular state with the Hindu majority and Pakistan, which was reserved for the Muslims. So there were a lot of violent outbreaks and mass migrations, and a lot of people were upset about it. But anyway, this is when you see Aisha running through the woods from, I want to say, is a British soldier. She kills him. Then she strolls onto a village and comes across a man named Hassan. He finds her later on under a tree on his land, of course. He offers her food and a place to rest. And he assumes Aisha is running from something, but he doesn't quite know what it is, but he doesn't really care. They bond, and they eventually have a daughter named Sana, a.k.a. Nani, which is Kamala's grandmother. That's where I'm going to stop, because that's kind of like the beginning of this episode. All right, I'm going to go to Phenom, right? Tell me, what are your thoughts on this opening of this episode?
I didn't have a problem with this.
I was about to say, if you had a problem with this, I would really be like,
Did not have a problem with this. I actually like the beginning. It started off fire, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So no, she's lethal with the skills, so she can fight. The funny thing is when she was sitting there talking to Hassan, and he was like, "Yo, what's up? What's your name?" and all that stuff. She wasn't saying nothing. But when he started talking about something else, she fell in love with them eyes, man. She fell in love with him off the rip. Yeah, my name is Aisha, yo. And she fucked that bread up, yo, because she was hungry. So she humbled herself, fell in love, and had a daughter, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have a problem with this part. I thought it started off good. I was liking it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So far, so good with Phenom.
Oh, so good.
We gonna skip over Ollie because he's taking a sip of some juice. We're gonna go to Cola. Cola, what are your thoughts of this beginning of Miss Marvel?
I mean, I enjoyed the beginning of it to know exactly, to see how everything was transpiring, how she met the grandfather, great grandfather, and they're a good looking couple. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Relationship goals. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
I wish we learned how he broke his leg or something, yo. Know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that might've been a birth defect.
Yeah, he had the pimp
Because it looked
yo.
like that whole one side wasn't really working that right.
Yeah. Brother got some good game because he only said a couple of words and offered her some food, and she was like, okay. But see what it was, the beard was on point. That's what it was.
That
I
beard
ain't front,
gave
yo. That beard was tight, yo. I was like, okay, I see why. Yo. Okay. I see why.
But go ahead, Cole. I'm sorry we cut you off. Is there anything else you wanted to say here?
Yeah, old boy spit a little bit of poetry, and she was like, my name's Aisha.
Yeah.
That's all you need sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Just feed a woman and, tell her she's pretty in a song. And
Oh yeah.
there we go.
True that. What about you, Ali, man? What's your thoughts on this opening?
Oh no, I thought it was fire. When her running, she was getting her run on, turn around, with whatever, with the blade. You know what I'm saying? Took the soldier out, and I was like, all right. So I mean, it definitely started off strong. The episode started off strong. And I was happy to see the backstory. See, what happened with the great grandmother and what have you, and that set it up for, of course, the end.
Stuff that happens later on.
Yeah.
I really like this opening. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it came right out the gate. You get more information about the partition because they've been talking about it all this time. And I love the fact that they're bringing something open out in the open to us for people like myself that don't really know about this part of India's culture and Pakistan's culture about what happened during the partition. It is a really big deal. So I love the fact that they had that knowledge dump in the beginning about it. And I love seeing Aisha. I mean, she got some skills, gorgeous woman and doing her thing. I mean, so anybody would have tried to pick that one up astray. If you standing in my village by yourself, I'm like, hey, you need a place to slay for the night. So the brother was smart. He was like, who is this sitting at the tree? You want to stay with me? So, but other than that, I think it was
how
really,
I met your mother.
Yeah, basically. But it was good though. She did humble herself. And of course, now they get together and Nani's been born. And so that part is great. Now we're going to go to the meat and potatoes of this episode. So right quick, the next scene is now that the partition has happened, tensions are rising up and the couple starts to experience discrimination for being Muslim. The locals stop buying Hassan's roses or flowers, and they actually refuse to sell milk to Aisha. Did not know that. So at this moment, Aisha is starting to sense someone. That someone is Najma. So Najma, she goes out into the field, sees her. Najma comes out like a ghost, shows up and basically says, I finally found you. And it's time for them to return to their home dimension. But after starting a family of her own, Aisha doesn't really feeling it, not too thrilled about it. And she basically asks about the bangle. She's like, well, I don't have it. It's going to take me a day or so to pull it up. That's where I'm going to stop because then it really starts turning south later on. So what were you guys' thoughts about the whole situation of discrimination and shorty girl Najma popping up? Fina, I'll go to you.
I didn't have a problem with this. Not yet.
Okay.
It's getting to the parts where I had a serious problem. I don't understand why how she found her. As an energy, because she never used her bangles. She never did anything to draw her to her. So that's the only issue I had. How did she find her?
Good point.
But it, like you said, Corey, like them introducing us to Indian history and Pakistani history, it's a big thing. You know what I mean? And I like the way they've done it. I mean, it's not as hard as it was, but it's like they put a Disney spin on it, but it made it relevant.
Right.
And just to see that minimal discrimination and them trying to figure out if they're going to leave or not. See her go through say, do I want to go to the dimension or stay with my family? It's not even a question. I need to stay with my family, but she don't have the nerve to tell. Like Wario, she look like she got a Waluigi, she got a long ass chin or something. But her, like she be looking scary, So she's intimidating.
She did look scary when she came out from them bushes. Like I found you. I was like, oh shit, So I'm going to go to Ali next, man. Ali, what are your thoughts on this part, man? What were you feeling at this whole scene?
Like my mind went blank. Usually my mind doesn't go blank too often.
No, you want it, brother.
But no, I mean, it wasn't too much to it. I mean, the discrimination and all that, it's crazy to see. I guess it's always going to happen, whatever. Wherever you are, people always find something to get mad at somebody else for. We could be, you can be identical twins. They'll still find, like, if everybody was identical, we would still find something to hate on somebody else for eventually.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. I mean, Shorty showed up. I mean, and like you said, it kicks it off.
I think it does make a good point of Phenom saying that. How does she find her? I mean, I'm still thinking about that too. Like, how did she find it? Because she didn't use the bangle. And she makes a point very early on in the episode that the reason why she found Kamala is because she used the bangle and she's able to sense that. So, this is a really good point, putting in them holes in the plot there. But hey, I overlooked it because I'm really enjoying this series. Now I'm going to go to Cola. Cola, what are your thoughts of this particular part of the scene?
Well, I basically wrote down the same thing Phenom said, like how did she find her? She didn't use the bangle. And like you said, like earlier in the series, that's how she found Kamala. So it's really weird that, years later, all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I think Aisha's over here.
Yeah.
Like how did you know to look in that area?
Yeah.
The world's big.
Yeah.
That and like the discrimination thing, like I don't know, sometimes like the male ego, I'm sorry, is just really big, because like this guy comes to the house, offering the milk and it looked like for free,
It was.
and he's having an issue with it. Like, nah, take your shit and go. Like, dude, it's free. And they're trying to help. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a kid, like humble yourself and take it.
True.
Yeah. True that. That's a good point. It's really good to see that they're bringing up the partition, the history, to show kind of how it starts to become a divisive situation among the people of India. And it was a really big thing. And so I'm really glad that they brought that up. So let's go to the next scene. This is when it really starts getting to the I guess I said the meat and potatoes, but now we get to the meat of the episode. So the following day, Aisha insists that they leave because their home is no longer safe for Muslims. As she, Hassan, and Sana, they walk to the train, which is the last train at this particular point out leaving the country. And that's when Aisha comes clean about her magic. She shows him the bangle while demonstrating her powers. And she makes Hassan promise to get Sana on the train no matter what happens. While they're going to the train, Aisha separates from her family, says, you got to go ahead. And then she leaves them, says, you need to go to the train. She leaves them and go back. And that's when she runs into Najma. Excuse me. Najma stabs Aisha for betraying the clandestines, and goes searching for the bangle. In this chaos, Sana is separated from her father. Aisha, meanwhile, grips a photo of her family and uses the words and says, while she's casting a spell, what you seek is seeing you. As she uttered those words, the same word that is described on Kamala's bangle, it's exactly at this moment that Kamala is sent back in time. That's when she finds a dying Aisha, who tells her that she has everything she needs. Before passing away, she dies, and that's when Kamala reaches and tries to find Sana, uses her powers to guide the child back to her father. She uses these light platforms, and eventually the light platforms turn into stars, and that is what leads Nana back to her father, which she reflected on back previously, talking about the story.
I gotta interrupt you 1 second and give a shout out to the lovely lady Cola here, because last week she definitely looked into the crystal ball and said, you know what?
I have a couple of theories.
Let's line them up.
All right. Put a tinfoil hat on.
Coca-Cola's theories, thoughts and theories.
So, one of my thoughts is when Nani was telling her story about how she got separated from everybody, she said there were some stars or something that guided her back to her father.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm thinking that was Kamala.
I was thinking that too. That's a good one.
I'm thinking that's Kamala.
Well, maybe it's one of them time loop things. So she's gonna come back in time and see her and guide her.
She hit the nail on the head.
Hit it on the
big
head.
time. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, that was good.
As soon as I saw this, I thought of Cole. I was like, "Oh snap, yo!" She was in the writer's room.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. You gotta.
Nah, but this is where it pretty much ends.
Flowers. Gotta give her flowers. She deserves them.
She set these light platforms up for Nani to get to her father, but eventually turn into stars, and which helps her the rest of the way get back to Hassan, which is her father at the time. And that's when Kamala, I'm sorry, I really got to say that. Kamala realizes it was her and not Aisha who led Sana to Hassan the night of the partition. And at this moment, this is when Kamala returns to the alley in present day. But this scene is a long scene because it has a lot, but it's all based off them going to the train ride. So that's why I had a lot that I had to digest and say this. But let's really dive into this particular situation. So, Phenom, I'm going to go with you first, brother, because you seem to have questions about everything that happened in this.
Questions. This shit was trash. This whole part, it started off good and it was straight trash, yo. I don't care what nobody say, yo. Ain't nobody see no light, yo. Nobody.
That's what I said.
Nobody.
Oh yeah. I mean, in the crowd, yeah, that was a little.
No, I even glance over the fact that Aisha got killed and nobody saw it. Because she
True.
was screaming out like that. She could have been laying on the.
I was about to say people get murdered in New York right now. It was a
You know what I'm
billion,
saying?
It was a
I didn't
billion
have an
people out
issue with
there.
that.
Yeah,
With the stars, yo.
yeah, that
what I'm
was
saying?
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And like Cola said, like she said it last week, and I co-signed with it. I was like, yo, it's so predictable about what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And it was, to me, it was just lazy. It wasn't
Lazy.
the whole. I feel like this whole part was rushed. It was like really Disneyed out, and they did a pretty good job not making it too Disney for Marvel. I mean, like really kind of stuck to the Marvel ways. Nah, not this, man. This is like it was so predictable, so predictable. It's so.
So out of this scene, you did not like the fact that it just was too predictable, and of course the stars.
All right, so I would say this. All right, granted, there's a screaming kid crying. Not one person looks at the kid. Okay,
True.
everybody's trying to leave.
They try to get on the train.
But you gotta
know what I'm saying?
understand, and also like,
How did they get separated though? He was holding her
if you ever
hand.
go to like, well, not that I haven't been, but if you look at like shit like countries over there, like
Oh, yeah, they don't care about
like
kids.
when it's like packed, like those highly populated areas, like a child crying, nobody's stopping for a child
And
crying.
that's what I'm saying. I don't hold that against
That's
them.
something like what the fuck, like and keep it moving.
But how did she get separated? Ain't nobody see no lights. I mean, like the lights went on for a minute.
The lights
she
are
made,
good.
she made the steps, yo, and the steps stopped. Then the steps went to the light, and everything was going slow motion, and the lights was going to the dad, to her dad. Yo.
Right.
Nobody seen that shit, yo.
That's all.
Look,
The dad saw it. Nobody else seen that shit.
you make a good point. Cola, man, what are your thoughts on this whole thing with them going to the train, showing him the magic, stabbing, the lights, the whole deal? What is your thoughts on this?
Okay. So the stabbing thing, I do agree that was a little lazy. But it's the fact that she got stabbed, and for whatever reason, the family thinks that she abandoned them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why? How does nobody know? Like, I understand a lot was going on, but her body had to show up somewhere. It's not like it disintegrated. You know what I'm saying? No Thanos snap or nothing. Like, her body's there, and nobody knew that she was dead. You know, that was kind of like a little.
She was also
mind-blowing.
walking for a minute before she passed out, yo. So she
Yeah,
ain't asked for help or nothing.
Nah, well, I guess she figured it was futile. There's no point because nobody was paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
good
how,
point.
how the baby got separated. You know, I'm from New York. I'm from a big city. That shit happens. Like, you know, it's extra crowded. People are going in different directions.
Right.
You know, the kid like gets bumped or something like that. The hand goes, and the next thing you know, you can't find the kid in the crowd. You know, like it was extra crowded. I mean, people were on top of the freaking trains.
Yeah,
like that's how
true.
crowded
That's wild.
everything was. So I can see how this like 2 foot tall baby can get lost in the crowd. You know, but.
The lights.
So that part I get. The lights thing, I agree. I think the only person who did actually see it was the father, because he was like looking around like, how the hell? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but how in the dark with lights, nobody else saw it? I don't know. Or how you can just be so tunnel visioned that you don't see this bright light that you've never seen, because this is not technology in this you know, era, that how you don't see it. I
It was
don't.
the 40s, yep.
Right.
Yeah, the good point, because them lights was right beside a lot of people before it even got to him.
Before
where
it
he
even
could
got
see.
to him.
It was leading.
And
the
the fact
lights
that
was,
she even like jumped on the
Yeah.
platforms, like, I mean, that's got to be enough for you to be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that, yo. Ain't nobody look back or nothing. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. That's
At least
true.
in New York, yo, they'll look back and be like, damn, that's fucked up. And keep on walking.
Yeah, and then
you know
keep
what I'm saying?
walking, right? Yeah, like even when the girl got stabbed, they would even see it, like, damn, that's fucked up. Like,
Yeah. You make a good
hope
point.
somebody helps.
Make a good point. I'm really thinking about it now. Why did they think that she left? I mean, they made it sound like she just departed them and was gone forever.
I
Like
mean,
she lived.
if they don't know, they don't know. You just start making up all types of stories. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I can understand that. It's just you would have thought the father would have said something else. It's just like it's like, did he not say something? Let this story just go on its own
Yeah,
little.
he ain't came for his wife, yo. He ain't something like really happened.
Well, I don't know. I ain't to put that on the father. I mean,
He was the only one there. You have to put it on the father. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the grandmas was always telling people it was something else. I mean, it's her children and the shame from the other people. So say the grandma is like, no, my mom didn't leave. You know what I'm saying? It's magic. Guess what? They all acting like she crazy anyway, yo. It's like the people around. And then eventually, Kamala's mom is on the fall victim to hearing that. You know what I mean? And she shames the grandma and all of them too. Like she crazy. So that's just what it is, man.
What are your
know.
thoughts on this scene? Oh, go ahead. Cola, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, instead of saying like, "Oh, it's magic," she could have been like, she could have said something like, "Something had to have happened." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, only death will keep her from her family, like something along those lines, as opposed to, it's
Because she
magic
said,
and we're genies.
she said the death line. If anything happens to me, you make sure she gets on the train. To me, that's the death line. Like, look,
Right.
I may not make it out of this situation, because he asked her previous to that, who was that lady? And he said, look, if anything happens to me, you make sure she gets on that train.
I feel you. I mean, I don't
Come
know.
on,
I think y'all rough on my man, yo. He got dropped all this in his
Nah,
lap.
he need a man up,
Oh,
yo.
I mean,
He had the beard.
All this dropped on his lap on the way there, yo. I mean, it went from whatever. Then
So what
all
were
of a
your
sudden-
thoughts on
all
this
of a
scene,
sudden,
Ali?
I'm
The
married
whole
to-
thing.
I'm
Seemed like
married
you
to
like
a genie. I mean, I admire all the scenes. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm corny.
I like the episode, but what were your thoughts on the scene, though?
I mean, the scene was good. I mean, and I like the story. I like how Kamala came back and did her thing. And I mean, some people could say like, oh, it was obvious or set up, like Phenom. But Phenom didn't come up with the theory. Cola did it. She ain't say
She
shit.
did.
He wouldn't know
He
it.
did.
My co-signer on it. Yo, go back and listen. I'm like,
Oh, I did.
You
And
know
then
what?
you-
That's gonna happen.
And you added some extra shit that didn't happen. I tried to leave that part out.
It don't matter, yo. I co-sign on the part. So you gotta go back and listen to that part.
But we don't know
co-sign.
that part is not going to happen yet, though.
But,
Ali.
Oh, what's that?
We
What's
have
that
one
part?
episode.
Oh, no,
like,
Phenom said
about-
she's gonna come back like six cents and can't nobody see her. And this and that.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's only two people that saw it the whole goddamn time, though.
I mean, other people saw it though.
Ain't nobody pay attention to her, yo.
I mean,
How did her grandmother know that was her, though? How her great grandmother know that was her?
I mean, she didn't know. I mean, because
She didn't know.
she called her another name at first, didn't she? Like, did she say something?
No, she thought that she was Sana. She thought she was Nani.
Yeah, Nani.
She thought she was her because she probably looked like her.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, okay.
But
Still stupid.
I didn't mind the Disney. I mean, I get the lights, but all the other stuff I really didn't mind, man. I thought, I mean, it was a crazy hectic time. You know, Cole, I gotta go against you too. You was like, they ain't find the bodies. Like, they ain't find bodies in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? After it's dead people everywhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but see, those are because of alligators. There's no alligators.
It's a billion people out there, so there's no telling what happened. So, I mean,
Also, people really probably didn't know. I would say that people didn't know her either. 'Cause
That's
she
what
came
I'm
to this
saying.
village. She's not from the village.
She did, yeah. A lot of people didn't know her. So, okay, I can go with that.
Yeah, but I
They
mean, at
got
the
ID
same
on
time,
them.
she was there for like 4 or 5. Like, how old was the girl? It looked like 4 or 5.
Yeah, she looked like she was about 4.
Yeah, so
I like
in 4 years, you know somebody.
Fuck it, yo. All right, maybe it's just the kid.
I mean, if I had to-
I liked all of it.
I mean, look, if I had to analyze this part of the episode, I thought it was good. I could understand the Disney flow. Like, we got 6 episodes, the penultimate episode. We got to cram this part in. That part could have been stretched out a little more just to get more weight and gravity, because her finally meeting Najma, which we called it way back in the day, that we thought something funny was about that girl on why she never gave her the bangle. And now we understand why, because she knew Najma was up to something with that. So she never wanted to give it to her. So
but did we really know that though? Because
I mean, from the
I
interaction.
don't know, because I mean, to me, it seemed like before she met the father, Hassan, before she met the father, she was kind of combative. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like as soon as she met him, all of a sudden it was like, okay, now I see what the allure is with this earth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it kind of softened her. Like maybe at one point she was like this other woman. You know what I'm saying? And then she actually had some interaction with the people of this earth.
Some of that good bread and some of that good deeds.
Right.
You know? Yeah, I didn't think about that.
You gotta have that vitamin D. You know what I'm saying?
That's about good. You know, I mean, look.
He was working out with that cane. He was like,
That's probably why he's walking with a cane, yo.
Right.
I didn't think about that.
Long stroke. You know what I'm saying? So
That's a good point. I never thought about that, because I originally thought that she was always trying to hide something from Najma, because who was she running from in the beginning other than just the guy from Britain? I mean, she's clearly skilled enough to take down any of those guys. So I just felt that she was on the run anyway from the beginning from Najma, and it just so happened she ran into this village. But you make a good point. She probably really did always want to go back, but got softened and like, nah, there's more to this world than just another dimension. It's a lot better than where we go. So,
see, I thought from the reason why she was running was because of that tomb raiding thing that they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like when they were trying to find the bangle, I thought this was the scene after that, where they were running from those British
that's
soldiers.
That's right. So that was the British soldier that was running after them when they tried to leave the cave. Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's my interpretation of it.
No, that makes sense. And then, of course, 4 years have passed by. She has a kid, and then she finally catches up to her. Okay, good point. Okay, all right, Cola. Look at Cola doing what Cola do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
There you go.
But I mean, that also explains why old girl didn't know she had a family. You know what I'm saying? Because, like during that time, she didn't see the family. She just saw her in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good point. That's what's up. So then at this particular point, right after that, after she gets right to her father and that whole situation where she realizes that the lighted stars were really, Kamala, gosh, I gotta stop saying Kamala helping her get back. Now we're back in present day. So the veil between Earth 616 and this Nord dimension has been opened, and the clandestines realize it, and they like, yo, we got to go home right now. So Najma thinks that she can make it through the veil, but Kamala reminds her of Kamran. However, Najma already says, I left them, and utters Kamran's name, and which is this is a part that I was a little kind of confused about, but I'm going to... I'm going to read, and I'm going to pause here, but I'm going to read exactly what was written on a particular segment to explain what happened. But I did not pick up any of this. So this is what it says. Najma already left them and utters Kamran's name only to see only one way to close the dimension. In her final act, she sacrifices herself to close the dangerous portal, uttering Kamran's name. But as soon as she does, some of that energy finds its way to Kamran, seemingly activating his powers. I did not get that from that scene at all, but that's what they're saying happened. So now I'm just going to kind of stop it right. Well, we'll go a little further. So back at the alley, after that scene happens, her mom and Nani walk in, seeing Kamala using her powers. And that's when her mom says, oh my God, you're the light girl. And they kind of have a little, situation and blah, 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 blah. What are y'all thoughts on this whole dimension thing that happened? Because this was one part that I was completely confused about, because they make it sound like she tried to close the door, and in closing the door, she sacrificed herself and she ignited Kamran's powers. I did not think that happened from the way that looked at all. Phenom, what are your thoughts on this scene?
I really got to say it, yo.
Go ahead, man.
Trash, yo. That's what it was, man. So they wake up. All right, everybody's knocked out. Everybody wake up. Mm-hmm. Then the black chick gets up and says, I can go home now. She goes there, gets eviscerated.
Yeah.
Then, while Luigi gets up and starts walking towards the portal, like she was going to walk through the joint. At first, she wasn't saying she was going to close it to sacrifice it until Kamala said, yo, if you do it, you're going to die. What about Kamran?
Kamran.
She's like, already left him. So my thing is, you spent all this whole episode fighting and chasing and all that stuff just to kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make any sense to me. Then we see, the power fly to Kamran and all that shit. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. That's why the last parts of this episode, I was just like out. I was like, this is dumb. This is not, it felt jumbled. Mm-hmm. And then the mom shows up, not even mad, like, because she used to find my iPhone app. Yeah. It's like, oh, you the light girl? And then they hug each other. She won't mad, no nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, they hug it out, and Kamala then hands, Aisha, which is Nani, the photo of the grandmother and her mom and dad. So she finally gets to see that it was all real. So yeah, this whole segment was tough for me to digest, and I had to actually do some research and read that part. Cole, I'm going to go to you. What did you think of that whole scene? What were your thoughts on that scene?
Well, from what you read or whatever, that's actually what I thought. You know what I'm saying? Because she actually really said, this is the only way I know to close it. and then she said his name, and then you see the light transferred him and his eyes glow and whatever. So you saw that, something activated in him.
Mhm.
So I did actually get that part. What I didn't get was, if this rip was open and this is their way to go back home, why are they dying? Why are they dying? Like, that part I didn't get. I also didn't get how that activated the portal to begin with, or this rip to begin with.
The rip, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like completely lost there. Like, I thought it was something more, some more juju in this. But if you remember, what's his name? Bruno did mention that if you do this, something bad is going to happen and everything could go boom. Like, we don't know until we know, like, let's not do anything.
Right.
So maybe that's what he was like kind of interpreting, that if you open this, people are going to die, around you. So that part, but
no, go ahead.
yeah. But the thing with Nani and the mother or whatever, like, of course, Nani already knows, so she's not really tripping or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you said, the mom, I was expecting a little bit more of a reaction to it, because if I saw my child have powers like right in front of me, I would have been like speechless, like, what the hell? Like,
Passed out like.
Right.
Like that's what all mothers do on every TV show, yo. They always pass out when they find something surprising, yo. Happy, yo.
I at least would have been catatonic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I feel you. Ali, man, what are your thoughts on this scene?
I mean, pretty much echo what they said. I mean, honestly, right? It was even worse for me, because I was like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get how the
but explain what you didn't get, because I didn't get it.
I mean, I didn't get the portal just opening up all of a sudden. Like, I was just like, that was out the blue. Like, And then when they were going through, I don't even understand why Kamala like tried to talk her out of it. I guess we should, like, if they could do this and the world could blow up or what have you. But the other ones had already jumped through the joint, didn't they?
No, she tried.
She tried
and
then she died. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, she got burnt up.
She got burnt up. But then
That was dope. That was dope though, the way they died though.
Yeah, with
that was dope.
like the crystal. I don't even know what to call it. They had the crystal ash, whatever. But then, I mean, just that. Like, it was the shortest of speeches just to make her change her mind all of a sudden. So it's just like, yo, what about your son, Cameron? All right, as it stopped, and all that. There's only one way to stop it: is sacrifice. Like, I don't even understand, like, because they didn't explain it.
Why they stop after she got sacrificed?
Why is this stopping the portal? Like, I don't get
it. Maybe it was because when she said the name, it transferred some of that power over to Kamran.
Okay.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe now he has the juice.
She was just like, yo, it's only one way to stop it. Oh, I was like, what? Like, what happened? Like, it was no. They could have gave a little foreshadowing or some shit, like a couple of episodes back, maybe, like when they was reading some scroll or something, like one way to stop it is whatever, like something, just to have her just say
magic. Something they could have joined forces to shut it.
I mean,
but why is she trying to shut it though?
Y'all guys make great points. This scene is tough to digest because it was a lot of stuff left on the cutting room floor. There wasn't enough information presented prior to this scene to understand why the decisions were being made at each moment. Like, why did the portal open just because you hit the bangle? The bangle had been hit before, if I'm not mistaken, twice.
Not with that knife.
Yeah, but not with the knife.
But what was special about the knife then? Like,
I think it was mentioned in that scroll thing.
Oh, okay.
And that's the reason why Bruno was like, yeah, like, let's not do this. You know?
Okay.
We don't get enough Bruno, yo.
So so that helps me explain that it, at least it opened the portal, but then her desire to get back there so bad, why all of a sudden it stops? Because she left Kamran, and all because now she says his name. Now suddenly she's like, oh, I don't want to go through it anymore. Yeah. Let me stop it. But then how is sacrificing herself stopping the portal? You know what I actually thought? I'm not even gonna lie. I watch a lot of horror movies. I thought she just left her body and possessed him. That's what I thought.
Honestly, I was thinking that for a second too. I was like, oh, she just.
But she didn't. Once he started talking to Bruno later on, I was like, oh, okay, something happened. But
I got a problem too.
But it is funny, like all of a sudden she cares about this motherfucker. She left his ass. She left his ass. Like last episode,
she could have killed him.
At a drop of a dime. I mean, at least she didn't kill her own flesh and blood.
Yeah,
but she sure as hell left his ass on the drop of a dime. So it was like, boom, boom. And he even gave her the puppy dog eyes. Like, mama, she was like, you made peace. Like,
yeah. Like, I got a big issue though. What's up with the time lapse though? I'll say this. So they fighting in the country. Like this last episode, they chasing around the market, fighting and all that stuff. They left the Kamran at whatever facility he's at. All this time lapses. How did they get from there, from the escaping the facility to India?
and you
go back to Kamran. Ain't none of the soldiers. They killed every soldier on the joint. Ain't no soldiers come apprehend him. Ain't no backup coming down. He's just walking around the facility. And all of a sudden he gets the powers. And then how you get away from the facility, yo?
Was he at the facility when he got
as soon as they escaped, they bounced and they left him there. So what Phoenix is saying, like, how did he get away? Like, even though he got outside the jail, he got to get away from the jail.
Yeah, he ain't go nowhere. And the thing about it is, he got the powers from when he was there. It looked like he was still in the dark dungeon or whatever it was at.
Right. Was he? See, that's why maybe I was confused.
See, but that's the holes. Oh, go ahead, Cola. What you gonna say?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say something. I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I was agreeing with Phenom. Like, yeah, if you think about the time frame or whatever, like flying out there or whatever the case is, like, why was he sitting in the same spot for like, a day and a half?
I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back and look.
He looked like he was still like in the hallway or somewhere going through something when it hit him. It was dark and he was. You're right.
If he was a lot of time had passed by. That's definitely dumb.
And see, that's the thing. Like,
I gotta believe you weren't in that hallway, man.
All right, man, go back and look, yo. He went on the main streets of New Jersey, yo. He wasn't there yet.
I mean, he could have been somewhere.
So, what was that stuff that even left Najma? That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, why uttering? What did she do? I guess they're saying she created some sort of a spell by uttering his name. But see, that's the part that's like.
I mean,
it just is very.
I wouldn't get too hung up on that, yo. We talking about fucking aliens and magic bangles and all that.
But what we're getting hung up on is just the gaps in the story on why this scene is just so unclear. That's all. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I ain't mind him.
There's gaps there.
I ain't mind him getting the powers. If he was in that same hallway, then this is all.
He needs to get the powers.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at that. It's just the time lapse.
It's how he got them. The execution of this scene is just. It's faulty. That's all.
Right.
It's just
was
execution.
it from her or was it from that rip? Because for me, I felt like it was from the rip because it looked like the same little aura, like lights or whatever that went to him came from the rip. But I don't know.
And see, in the comics, he's got to get the powers. Because in the comic, he has powers. He's an inhuman or that type of, just like Kamala, but something happens to activate their power. So he's got to get the powers. And I guess this was a way of figuring out how does he get it because we did something different to Kamala for her to get it. So, but eventually in the comics, Bruno turns out, which I read the comics now, Bruno turns out to be bad. In the comics, Bruno, I'm sorry. I didn't mean Bruno. I'm Bruno. I'm sorry. Kamran.
Oh
yeah, that was
I can see that.
Yeah.
In the comics,
that shit, man.
Spoiler alert! If y'all ain't,
I mean, is it really a spoiler alert? I mean, he actually, my mother's looking for me, yo. When he found out his mother's dead, yo, he's gonna go ham, yo.
Yeah.
Right, he's probably gonna blame Kamala.
He's gonna blame Kamala and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So in the comics, they actually do go against each other in the comics for a good stint there. So I'm seeing it. It's going to happen, whether it happens this season or next season. So. Moving on, then Kamala goes upstairs, says goodbye to Kareem. He gives her the red scarf. Plus, and I think her mom's name is Maniba. find Kamala's necklace, and it's broken into the shape of the emblem that we will see later on in her costume. So this particular scene here is defining how her origin costume is there, because that red scarf she wears that in the comics, and that the symbol is clearly what she's going to have on her outfit near the end. Then we have a bonding moment between Kamala, her mother, and her grandmother. Kamala learns that her mom is pretty much just like her, more like her than she realized. Then we have a mood switch. It switches the mood, and then you see Kamran run up on Bruno in the need of a place to crash since he has nowhere to go. He believes that his mother, Najma, is going to be coming back. Of course, Bruno is like, I don't know, man. You know, I know how it is to be alone, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know why he thinks she's going to come back despite her dying, trying to close this portal. But then he and Bruno, he doesn't know that though. He and Bruno have a super awkward conversation. This is when a drone appears outside of Bruno's window, and Kamran realizes he's been followed, and he uses his powers to destroy the drone. And as soon as the drone is hit, it fires a missile, and Bruno's place is blown to bits. This is kind of like the last portion of the show. So I'm going to go to Phenom first. What are your thoughts about this closing of this show, this scene?
Like I said, it's predictable. Where Bruno parents at, yo?
I mean,
they died.
They died. Yeah.
He doesn't have parents.
He lives with his grandmother.
Or his caretakers, his guardians, or whatever. Yo, we never seen anybody. Yo.
Well, no, he mentioned it because he said his grandmother had made a lasagna or something like that, a casserole in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed like he always buys stuff. Now, does he work at the store, or does his grandparents own the store, or whatever? I don't know the dynamic. But anyway. Shit blown up.
Stop searching for bad shit, yo.
It was a bad episode, man. And look, you even kind of paused a little bit on this episode too. You was like, it was a great episode. You was like, yeah, I can see. You started teetering,
I just didn't understand that one part. I thought the end. All this was good. I thought all the interaction between Kamran and Bruno was good. He was like, oh shit.
Bruno don't even fuck with Kamran. That's the thing, yo.
Well, that's all.
That's why it was awkward.
Yeah,
it was awkward. That's what your boy. He was like, shit. He was like, I thought your name was Brian all this fucking time. He was like, it looked like he felt bad about it. He felt bad about it. I'm like,
oh really?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
You ain't got nowhere to go. Of course, you gonna say, "Damn, I should have did that." But I digress with that part. I will say, it did end on a strong note with the bonding of the ladies. I thought that was super special. I thought that was cool. I thought, it was normal. I mean, it's how it should be. And that's the part of the story I did like. You know what I mean? Her mom realizing like, yo, I was tough on you because I thought you was gonna leave me, and the mom was like, well, you left me. You know what I'm saying? The grandma said you left me. So I thought that was really good. So this episode did have some good parts, but overall it did not.
All right, cool. Ollie, man, you seem to be doing this. Go ahead, Ollie, man. What are your thoughts on this scene?
I got out. I thought the scene was good, man. I liked it. I laughed. He was like, oh, he saw the Nicholas Tesla shit, whatever, Nikola Tesla. He was like, oh, you're a big car guy? He was like, oh, bro, like, we definitely, he was like, I see why we don't get along. Because, you know what I'm saying? Your boy's thinking cars, my man's thinking electricity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he was like, argon, that's my favorite element too, and all that dumb shit. Like,
He was trying to find a commonality.
Yeah, he was. He was trying to be cool with Brian, aka Bruno. So I enjoyed it. That last scene was fine with me. It was on par. It was set me up for the next episode.
Cola, what about you?
I enjoyed it. The awkwardness between the two guys or whatever, but just the fact that you see that Bruno's a really good guy, because despite not liking this guy, he still was like, all right, I'll help you out tonight. Yeah, and then finding out like, okay, my mom might come back and like, my parents died. I guess I'll help you out. You know what I'm saying? You stay until we can figure it out or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then you got to go.
Right.
But he's all about the bros, and I appreciate that. The bombing at the end, though, I wasn't expecting that. I know Phenom said it was predictable. I wasn't expecting anything to blow up.
Yeah, me either. I thought the scene was great. I think it's really good to see their awkwardness because they really don't get along. Of course, you know why Bruno was really into Kamala, and they just don't have anything in common. So seeing that is great. That whole scene worked for me. It was very hard to see how he got his powers, but we'll go past that. Seeing him use it all of a sudden on the drone and that bombing at the end definitely caught me by surprise. I was like, oh snap, what happened? But the question is, what really happened? Of course, we know nobody's dead, but who sent the drone? Who do you think sent the drone? Anybody got any theories on that? Phenom, Ali, Cola?
Is it the same people that's chasing them, right?
The destruction
The
police,
CDC, C or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's
that's
the
what
same
I was
people.
thinking.
Yeah, just chasing them.
Which is weird. Like, it's just a brand new agency out of nowhere, I think.
No,
right?
it's if you look at
Spider-Man, right?
Spider-Man, yeah. Well, what's your boy, Michael Keaton?
Okay.
He had the junkyard or the business that reclaimed all that stuff.
Yeah,
Right,
so
okay.
that's when they're first introduced into the MCU is in Spider-Man Homecoming, where Michael Keaton is cleaning up everything. And then they come in and say, hey, we're the CDC or whatever. We're going to take care of all this. And that's where Michael Keaton gets mad because it's this organization that kind of Tony Stark kind of created to help clean up stuff. So Michael Keaton,
And
of
that
course,
was
is
my
mad.
thing too, because I mean, from that, they were collecting scraps. Now they're collecting people. Like, when did that start?
Well, they were
You know.
collecting alien stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
But now it's aliens. You know what I'm saying? Because how do you go from collecting material to collecting people? You know.
Good
And also,
question.
like when Kamala got his powers, though, he won't like, oh shit, I got my powers. Oh, he already knew what to do with the powers. Though. That's why I said the end was clunky, yo.
I don't think that
was.
I think it's just kind of like Kamala, where it was
because he saw the thing. He was like, oh, and it just came out.
He felt the power hit him though.
I mean,
did he, or did he think it was indigestion? Like, you don't know.
I don't say.
Y'all came for this episode. I'm done with that, yo. Y'all can make it make sense.
I get hit with the power. My arm started tingling. I'm be like, yo, my arm fell asleep.
His eyes started glowing, yo.
I ain't be like, I got superpowers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
his eyes are glowing. There's no mirror there.
Man, you get this big old feeling, this euphoric feeling, or powerful feeling, or hurt feeling, whatever feeling you got. You know something ain't right no more, yo.
I might have thought it was a spider sense or something.
Both of you guys make really good points. I'm going to tell you why. One, because Kamran already knows he's not human. He knows he's a clandestine. He knows he's a what is that? A djinn.
Yeah,
so he has some sense of knowledge on something funny just happened. So he could not think it's indigestion. But on the other hand, he could think he got a bad bowel movement about to happen, and he just got the funny feeling in his stomach, and it just took it. You know, you never know.
Let's be real.
I can see it on both sides.
You grow up in a superhero family or whatever the fuck, and you like 17. Hold up,
wait, you got some cola?
But I'm just.
I'm sorry. I just real quick. I'm thinking like maybe he felt his mom, which is why he said, "I need to go back. You know where she might find me." In that area, you know what I'm saying? Because remember, like that power came from over there.
It came from over there.
Maybe he was just like, because she called his name. Maybe she felt that and was like, "Oh, my mom. You know, I need to go where she can find me or whatever, because she's in this area." And like he was very insistent that she was coming back for him. Maybe that's that feeling that he got.
I get
that makes sense.
Cola's makes more sense because I'm just gonna be like,
damn, I'm good.
I'm just gonna be like, yo, you grew up around a bunch of superheroes. Guess what, yo? He probably felt like his superpowers came like 1,000 times before. He's like, ooh, I got it. He jumped out that window, bow, broken legs. Next week, you know what I'm saying? He got another little, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he ate that Taco Bell like Corey. Get a little funny feeling in his stomach. He's like, yo, I got these powers. Out there. Get his ass whooped. So this time it hit him. He was like, yo, I ain't falling for this shit again, yo. You know,
I was about to say, after every good BM, man, I feel like I have superpowers after. So.
Coming out feeling about 10 pounds lighter.
Yes. I can fly.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, for real. You make a good theory though, Cola. I mean, because he does really stress that he feels his mom. He's going to meet his mom again and get his mom back.
Because Bruno's like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Bruno's like, yo.
He's like, it's done. It's done.
Like, yo,
nah,
she left you where? She left you where? Yeah, nah, bro.
Coming back with it.
She in India? Oh, no, she comes back.
Left your ass in prison. Well, you escaped,
anyway,
but, you know.
Is there anything else in this episode that I missed that anybody wanted to cover before we end this review and recap? Anything else?
This finale better be good, man.
I got
Go ahead, Cola.
Oh, good.
Did y'all check out that intro music?
Oh, the
Yeah,
intro was fire.
Yo,
they got good music, man.
Yo, you notice that the music in the beginning kind of sets the tone for the whole show.
The whole series. Yeah. The
Yeah.
show. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, just that
yes.
episode. Like
Mhm.
every episode at the very beginning, you're like, oh, okay, so this is what's we're easing into like how this is gonna end up. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
Whoever's doing the music on this series is killing it. Fire.
Yeah.
Because I was tired of that Marvel.
Yes. That joint was dope.
I was like,
Yeah.
but yeah, so.
You know what I also like on this show as well is all the different graphics and all the different versions on how they're writing out Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Like in this one, it when it first comes on, right before we go to this scene, Miss Marvel is written in another language, which I'm sure is a language that's over there. And I was like, oh, that's dope. That's just pretty good. Which is great. What were you going to say, Ali? What else did you want to tap on? Is there anything else in this episode?
Not so much this episode, like going forward, though. Honestly, I don't think the last episode is going to have a lot, man. Now that the main...
I think they're going to fight. You think
I mean that's what it's going to probably end up on that note, like them fighting each other.
All right, so let's predict. Okay, that's a good prediction.
But I will go with the Phoenix Rider. That it's predictable. Like we already know it's coming. So I'll give that one that. But I don't think it's gonna be too much. I think it's gonna be a lot of wrapping up. She's gonna come back to the States. Bruno's gonna have to decide if he's going to wherever he's going to.
Caltech. Yeah.
And
he's not.
Of course.
From the comics, he does. I mean, he winds up. This is a lot that Bruno does. I mean, he's going to be her tech guy. I mean, that's going to be the thing. So, and he actually helps Kamala come up with the outfit in the comics. So we already know she dons the outfit. So this has got to be the last episode or the last shot in the episode. So something's going to happen in episode 6. Now, my predictions are she's going to come back to the States. Her mom now knows. Her and Kamran are going to have a face-to-face because he's going to want to know what happened. And she's probably not going to really tell him because she's afraid of it. And he's going to have some beef with her. And somewhere along the line, they're going to square off. Now, do they really square off? But I'm with Ali. I don't think this is going to be like a transition episode because she's going to be in movies. She's going to be in the Marvels coming next year. And if I'm not mistaken, they will be greenlighting Captain... I'm sorry. She'll be in the Marvels, and if I'm not mistaken, she will be greenlit for another season later on. But that's the word on the street.
I don't know how I feel about it in the movies, but I'll let y'all go first. I'll come back to that.
But that's my prediction. Is her and Bruno are going to square off, possibly. But if some random Kamran is going to square off. Some random thing that might happen is you might see Monica Rambeau show up, or you might see Captain Marvel show up, just to transition it into the movies.
Yeah, I guess that would
possibly,
be big, but that can definitely happen.
Yeah, Cola, any predictions or what you think is going to happen in the next episode?
I don't think it's going to be anything too big, like you guys are saying. I honestly don't think that they're going to square off per se, but I think he's going to find out. And that's probably when the dark side is going to, ensue, where he gets angry at Kamala for whatever reason. Right. But I don't see like a major scuffle or, a fight scene or whatever. I think that might be season 2.
Yeah.
If there is a season 2.
Yeah, too soon for that. It might be some disagreement to start the beef. Right, yeah. No actual scuffle. Phenom, what are your predictions? You predicting trash?
No, I said it has to be better. And like I said, I'm just going to ride it out. I'm going to throw this episode away and then cleanse my palate and come back and be like, hey, this is going to be a great episode. And I'll be highly disappointed if it's not. I want to see the dynamic when they come back home. Does the mom tell the dad? Tell the brother who she is.
Who does she tell? Yeah, good.
They keep
good
it
point.
under wraps. What's going to happen after the explosion? Does Bruno and Kamran escape somehow? And then, or maybe explosion, got this big old shield around them, so they couldn't get hurt by the bomb or whatever. They make an escape. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait till Wednesday, y'all. I really want to see how they're going to wrap this up. So.
Yeah, really, really good series. So far, I really enjoy it. I definitely can understand everybody's plot holes in this episode, but overall, I really enjoy it. I do want to know how they're going to wrap it up. I will say one thing. I wish Disney would stop holding on to the 6-episode series.
Yeah.
If you got to do 7, do 7. If you got to do 8, do 8. If you got to do 9, do 9. Stop with the 6th episode because there are certain episodes in these series that just
need more explanation.
They need more
do
explanation.
6 and make it longer.
No, And I was going to jump into that too, Corey. I'm glad you brought that up, man. It's not even about, to me, like they need to just make a TV show, for lack of a better term. All this Marvel going from
Connected
TV series connecting to the movies and all this shit. Like, I think this episode for Wordsworth for Phoenix says, I mean, it gets a little jumbled, but if they was almost doing I don't want to say like a, what's the word, periodical show, whatever, where it's just like something new each week. The show started off fun. Like the first 3 episodes was fun.
Yeah,
but then there's like, oh, we gotta tie all this Marvel shit into it real quick because she gotta be in the movie. Like it would have been her high school, teenage, whatever. Like they could have. I can't put it into words.
Yeah.
If you feel what I'm saying, though, like
what you're trying to say is, if it just was a closed story on just Kamala's life in school and high school and being a Muslim Pakistan teenager in New Jersey, just that she's learning her powers, she's not getting it right, she's doing kind of like how Spider-Man was like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It was this enclosed situation in just his town of New York, city of New York.
And I think with them having,
then later on he got shipped to Civil War where he had to do a little more, but it was right there. It was a very closed situation. So I see what you're saying. They could have just had it there, but them trying to bring so much lore into this because they needed to move into the next series might have been some damage to it. I can understand your part on that.
Every superhero ain't gotta be saving the world from destruction, Like, can't they just fight like the local crime boss? Whatever happened to that shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me just beat up the
honestly,
the
that's how
local
Kamala's story is in the comics.
Like,
that is exactly how Kamala's story in the comics.
Like, why can't I just beat up the local drug dealer? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like Daredevil just staying in Hell's Kitchen.
But Daredevil, right? And I like that. You know what I mean? Like everything doesn't have to be so big.
That's true. And the way that they tied Daredevil into other series is he's a lawyer, so they can easily bring him into another series to be somebody else's lawyer. That's it. But it connects that way. But yes, Kamala in the comics does exactly that. I read that comic, and in the comic, she's not fighting a big boss, nothing at all. It's a local guy that was kidnapping some kids that eventually she finds out because Bruno's brother gets kidnapped, and she goes to try to find Bruno's brother. But then in finding Bruno's brother, she finds out that there's other kids too. So she goes after this guy. Very small, contained story, but from that, it starts to build and build and build, where eventually she becomes part of the Avengers.
Like
so Bruno got a brother? Do we know about
in the comics? He did.
He had
I feel like he's the only child. Is he not the only child?
That got snatched up.
I mean, they probably just didn't do that. But there's some things that they've kept out.
But I just think with them trying to tie all this in together, and then, like I said, with it only being 6 episodes, they always got to make all these shits like so big. Because if it wasn't, like, if she wasn't, like, big, why the hell would she be with Captain Marvel type of shit? You know what I mean? She doesn't just go from fighting the, you know what I'm saying, the dude on the corner to aliens, I guess. Well,
it's a very remind me of Spider-Man. That's all. I mean, even her telling her mom reminds me of Peter Parker and Aunt May finding out. It's a lot of similarities. Like I tell you, Miss Marvel comics reminds me a lot of the Spider-Man comics, and there's a lot of parallels to that story. So, but look, you make a really good point. I still really enjoyed this series. You're right. The first 3 episodes were so fun. This one these past 2 months, it got more serious, but it is a serious topic. It is about the partition, and they need to really figure out what's going on. So I understand why they're incorporating that. So I don't really mind it so much. I thought it was actually great. So far, I'm giving this series an 8. I don't have a problem with 8.5. We'll see how it lands, but so far, I hope they do well. Other than that, anybody got anything else to say? Nope. No. All right, man. We're going to close this out. I give this episode an 8. Cola, real quick, what you get this episode, this series so far?
An 8.
All right, Ali, what about you?
I get an episode of 8. I like the series about 8.5. I like the series.
Yeah, I like the series. All right, Phenom, you, episode and series.
Man, they did bad on this test, man. Brought down the grade a little bit.
What's your number?
68, yo. You know what I'm saying? Out of 100, yo.
This episode's a 6 and the series is an 8.
No, 68 out of 100, yo. She got a D, yo. D plus right now, yo.
F is a 69, I thought. The D you need a 70, right?
Nah, 60 is a...
no, that's a C, isn't it?
Yeah, 70 is a C,
yo.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They was going, they had a 78 up front. It was like a strong C plus, yo. There was some plot holes.
Really?
I was still
C plus?
entertained.
For the whole series?
I was still entertained, but it was some stuff that still had a lot of questions, a lot of jumping around that needed some
Damn,
flow.
Phoenix.
Yo, his t-shirt, his sweatshirt, like
Yo, it's not
definitely.
influence, yo. Y'all can't tell me what to do, man.
Definitely.
Y'all can't tell me how to feel, yo. 68. Study next time, yo.
All right.
The thing was out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Like he said 68, like it was like out of this world.
No, I'm a hard grader, yo.
That is true. That's why I said a 6 or 8. You know, he's like 60. I was like, oh, this must be great.
68. That's the phenom scale, yo. Out of 100, yo.
Oh my god,
yo, we got a D+ right now.
All right, that's funny.
Need to study for this final exam to get a passing grade, yo. Let's get it.
Well, we'll see how this lands. As of right now, Phenom is going to give this one an F. So, you know, so far everybody else seems to give it a B+ to an A. But anyway, thank everybody for watching this episode. We have done a recap on the penultimate episode of Ms. Marvel. I really loved it. Everybody really loved it except Phenom, but that's okay. Don't forget to come back with us next week for the finale. I'm Corey Roy. That's Phenom 202. That's my man Hollywood DA. That's Cola. Could you tell us where they can find you?
Coca-Cola on Instagram, QOKA_QOLA, bringing that big auntie energy every single time.
There you go.
All right. That's right. That's right.
Yo, we, you know, Hollywood Day here. We definitely always bring the black dad energy, and I'm gonna have to bring. I mean, he ain't my son. I'm gonna have to give him a hug or something. Though. I gotta give him a little.
Just tell him to study for the final exam.
Little that positive energy, brother. I love you, bro. I love you, man.
Yo, I love you too, but yo, you're not gonna do this to me, yo. I'm sorry.
And with that, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll be right back here next week with the finale of Ms. Marvel. Peace, y'all.
Get with this, 'cause this is where it's at. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think